How James Corden fooled America for 8 years straight.
For 8 years, James Corden dominated late-night television and social media feeds, turning The Late Late Show into a global viral sensation. At his peak, his Carpool Karaoke videos raked in billions of views, his celebrity interviews created countless memorable moments, and his boyish charm won over millions of American viewers. He sang with Justin Bieber.
So this is obviously set up for the US audience. In the UK, most people haven't liked James Corden for a lot longer. We realised before we started doing late night that he was a bit of a turd. He started in a series called Gavin and Stacey. That lasted a while in the UK. Apparently it was really funny. I've never watched it. I have seen clips and there are some humorous bits, but it wasn't really my kind of humour. Then he was on a TV series called A League of Their Own, I think. It was on Sky in the UK. It was a humorous sports quiz. That was funny, and he was funny in it. I used to watch that all the time. My flatmate at the time would watch me watch it and be like, that guy seems like a prick, pointing at James Corden. I was like, there's no way. He's obviously really funny. But the longer it went on, you could see that he had this kind of like turdish behavior. He had like a bit of an ego issue, and there was stories coming out about him having issues with people backstage and just being a diva.
Played dodgeball with Michelle Obama, and joked around with a long list of the biggest stars in Hollywood. CBS had gambled everything on a virtually unknown British actor, and that gamble seemed to pay off big time. Corden was everywhere, hosting award shows, appearing in blockbuster films, and collecting accolades for his seemingly effortless ability to entertain. Yet throughout his meteoric rise, a very different story was brewing beneath the surface. While television audiences saw a charming, humble host who just loved making people.
When they first started this show in America, this late show, there were some funny moments. I'll give him his flowers in that some things he does say are quite funny. So it's either him or his writers of the show, they were good. But knowing you're a turd, it's hard to watch you from that point on. Whoever came up with the Carpool Karaoke though, that was genius at the time. Such a good idea, and they did so many good guests on that.
Laugh. Those who encountered him away from the cameras often described someone completely different. Staff members, service workers, and industry insiders whispered about his entitled behavior, explosive temper, and dismissive attitude. These stories remained largely contained to industry circles until they began spilling into public view, from disastrous film roles to inappropriate jokes, from abusive.
Cats was awful. Worst thing I've ever sat through. Took my daughter, she asked if we could leave within about half an hour. I was like, no, it's going to get better. Surely. It didn't.
Behavior to cultural insensitivity. The cracks in Corden's carefully constructed image grew larger year by year. The smiling face that Americans had welcomed into their homes each night began to seem less genuine and more calculated, and the gap between Corden's public charm and private behavior would eventually become his undoing. James Corden.
See, this is what I don't get. Also with like Ellen DeGeneres. You have so many people working underneath you, working with you. If you're a turd, it's going to come out. Do you think that you're going to get more roles, get more work if you're horrible? It's not hard to be nice. Just be nice. You can have disagreements with people, but don't be out here being an absolute moron and being rude to people who work for you, who make you great, because nobody gets to the level he gets on his own. He didn't just do that on himself. He had so many people behind him. Now look at him and Ellen, and like, the downfall's deserved. All you got to do when you get up there is just be nice.
Corden wasn't born into showbiz royalty or groomed for stardom from childhood. He grew up in Buckinghamshire, England, and was the son of a musician father and social worker mother, with dreams that extended no further than working in entertainment someday. His career began with modest roles in British theatre and television throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s. At 17, he appeared in the musical Martin Guerre, followed by small roles in films like 24/7 and British TV series like Hollyoaks. He bounced between.
Anybody who doesn't know what Hollyoaks is, it's a British soap. It's really bad. The writing's awful.
In serious roles and comedy, struggling to find his niche and often going long stretches without significant work. Nothing indicated that international stardom awaited him. In 2000, after years of small parts, he landed a recurring role in the British drama Fat Friends, playing Jamie Reimer, a role that finally showcased his acting abilities to a wider audience. The first major turning point came in 2007, when Corden co-created a sitcom with Welsh actress Ruth Jones called Gavin and Stacey. The show followed the relationship between a boy from England and a girl from Wales, with Corden playing Smithy, the loud, lovable best friend who often stole the show.
Chicken boner, lamb boner, prawn boner, mushroom rice, bag of chips, Cayman and 9 poppadoms.
And there we see the start of the ego. If he co-wrote it, then he wrote his lines and he wanted to be the punchline, the one that everybody remembered after the show. After you've watched it, like, oh, it's so funny that James Corden's great. If you get the chance to write your own show and you have a big ego, then of course you're going to make yourself the star.
The series became a massive hit in the UK, but it was more than just commercially successful. It became a cultural phenomenon. At a time when Welsh representation on UK television was limited, Gavin and Stacey bridged cultural divides and showcased regional identities with warmth rather than stereotype. Critics showered it with praise and audiences fell in love with its characters, and suddenly Corden found himself catapulted to British stardom. With this newfound fame came other opportunities. Corden hosted the Brit Awards, appeared on numerous panel shows, and co-hosted a charity fundraiser for comic relief. During this early period, James came across as genuine and grateful, just a regular guy who couldn't believe his luck. The British public embraced him as a relatable figure who'd achieved success through talent and perseverance, rather.
So then why make yourself unrelatable? Why make yourself into somebody that people aren't like? Fame and stardom does some weird things to people. I do feel for some people in that, like they don't know how to handle it. He clearly didn't as he was coming up.
Than connections or privilege. But fame changes people, often in ways they don't anticipate. And by Corden's own admission, it changed him significantly. As his profile grew, he began showing signs that success might be affecting his behavior. In his autobiography, he was surprisingly frank about his transformation, saying, "You can start to think you're perhaps a bit more of a dude than you really are. And that very much happened to me. I had a swagger in my walk." Those closest to Corden were noticing worrying changes in real time. His Gavin and Stacey co-star Rob Brydon became concerned enough to confront him directly, pulling him.
Rob Brydon's a really cool dude. I used to live like next door to him in Strawberry Hill. He's really, really nice, and good on him for confronting him
to one side and saying, "Look, this is a bit awkward to say, but I'm just hearing these things about you, and you've got to know that the way you behave has an effect on people." His family members also noticed the shift, and according to Corden's mother, his sisters approached him with the warning, "James, don't be a dick." It wasn't long before the concerns about his attitude escalated into concerns about his career. In 2009, at the height of his initial fame, Corden and his Gavin.
Gotta love family that put you in your place, no matter how big you are, how good you are. You're not bigger than your family. That's it. You and your family, you've been there since the start, so you're not bigger than them. They made you, they helped you grow, they raised you into the person you are. Good on his sisters for doing that.
Stacey co-star Matthew Horn launched their sketch show Horn and Corden. It was universally panned by critics, and the Daily Telegraph called it about as funny as credit default swaps. The show was cancelled after just one season. That same year, Corden and Horn starred in the film Lesbian Vampire Killers, which was savaged by reviewers and bombed at the box office. Corden himself later admitted that these projects were a complete mistake, rushed out to capitalize on his popularity, and his reputation took an even bigger hit when he hosted the 2010 Glamour Woman of the Year Awards and got into a confrontation with legendary actor Sir Patrick Stewart.
This is where they put their endorsement in, so I'll put mine in here. And because I haven't got a sponsor yet, I'm going to sponsor myself. I wrote a book this year. I've been published. It's called Get Out of Your Own Way. I started social media because I wanted to help people, and I do that a lot in my TikTok and my Instagram. I wanted people who had a bit of a rough background, a rough start in life, to believe that they can actually do something with their life, because our schools and the people you usually have around you during those times aren't very helpful. They don't reflect what you might want. And if you share your dreams with these people, they usually put you down. They don't give you the space to grow. If that's a pretty bad situation, then it doesn't give you much of an option. It doesn't inspire you enough. So I wanted to write a book to inspire people, to show that you can. It doesn't matter where you come from, whatever your background. I had a pretty bad time of it. I'll go into it properly maybe in another video, but you can achieve things. I want people to believe they can do whatever they want. You just have to make the move. And if you want help with that, some guidance, some framework to work around to achieve your goals, then this is the book you want. Of course, I appreciate it if anybody buys a copy, but if not, don't worry, just enjoy the video.
The 2010 Glamour Woman of the Year Awards is an event people remember for all the wrong reasons. What was supposed to be a night of celebration and festivities turned very awkward when Patrick Stewart criticized Corden's behavior on stage.
I want to speak to James here. It's James, isn't it? When the presenters are up here and when the recipients are receiving their awards, don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. You couldn't be more wrong. Oh, genuinely. And if it looked like that, I'm so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it. There we go.
The ego. He does, oh. What a turd. He's such a turd. I'm so happy he's not really on our screens anymore. So happy his show got canned. It did get canned, didn't it? I think he he didn't just step down. I know it made it look like he stepped down, but they just got rid of it because, well, he's an awful person.
James could have accepted the criticism or tried to defuse the situation, but instead he went on the offensive, which wasn't a good look. The situation then got even more uncomfortable after Stewart made a dig about his weight.
From where I was sitting, I can see your belly. And that was right over there at the back of the room. These people down here, you know.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
Later, after Stewart presented the Film Actress of the Year award to Avatar star Zoe Saldana, their back and forth started back up again.
For whatever it's worth, I like your belly, so. But I would pay to see Sir Patrick Stewart dying on stage any day, so.
For the people that haven't seen my belly, is there anyone who hasn't got a... It's just there. Okay, can we get a taxi ready, please? The old man going home, okay.
Clips of the confrontation spread quickly online, showing an unfiltered glimpse of Corden's temper. The incident became a warning sign that the lovable Smithy from Gavin and Stacey might not be so nice off-screen. Despite this, Corden continued to land significant opportunities. For example, that same year he began hosting A League of Their Own, a sports-based comedy panel game show. He also...
So this was actually funny. I think it was worth watching. I think they should bring it back, but obviously not with James Corden, bring somebody else in. He seemed a bit more relatable because the way that the other people on the show reacted with him, they were quite chummy with him. They seemed like they were good friends, and they would do like spin-off bits outside of the show. And some of these people are good people, so it seemed like James Corden is as well.
Took on the lead role in the comedy play One Man, Two Governors at the National Theatre in London. The production was a massive critical success, later transferring to Broadway, where he won the Tony Award for Best Actor in 2012. Despite the handful of warning signs he'd shown, he had a path laid out in front of him to become one of Britain's biggest stars. But just a couple of years later, his entire life completely changed. In 2014, American television network CBS made an announcement that surprised virtually everyone in the entertainment industry. James Corden would replace Craig Ferguson as the host of The Late Late Show. Most Americans responded with a collective, "Who?"
James Corden went into CBS to pitch an idea for a sitcom. Well, instead he walked out with a late-night talk show. The British actor...
I'm sure any of you in the US had absolutely no idea who this guy was, because as we've just seen, he hasn't done anything outside of the UK, just UK TV show, and nothing even big at UK cinema. That lesbian vampire thing flopped and wouldn't have been seen by anybody outside of the UK. I'm so happy I've never seen that movie as well.
Who succeeds Craig Ferguson as host of The Late Late Show will be the first to tell you he's totally unqualified.
However shocked people at home are going to be by the fact that I've been chosen to host this show, none of them will be as shocked as I am.
The man Corden was replacing wasn't just any other talk show host. Craig Ferguson had spent 10 years creating something special in late night. He'd completely thrown out the traditional talk show rulebook. No pre-written questions, no forced celebrity anecdotes, just real, unpredictable conversations.
I love the Rodin Museum, is beautiful.
Really? Do you like Rodin's The Thinker, with that big thing that does that?
Yes, I love the big thing that does that.
I forgot how much I liked you.
What's the therapy?
And I forgot how much you could get away with on TV back in the day. You cannot say that anymore. Even on a late, late show, they're still like family watch these days, and everything gets clipped up to social media anyway, so you wouldn't be able to post it anywhere else.
Well, you tell me your problems, I fix you up.
I don't have any problems.
That's denial. That's your first problem.
Ferguson thrived on his genuine curiosity and quick wit. His interviews felt like late-night conversations between old friends, unscripted, authentic, and often hilarious. With his robot skeleton sidekick and pantomime horse, Ferguson had built a strange, wonderful world that stood apart from the polished perfection of other late-night shows. So when he announced his departure, the big question wasn't just who would take over the time slot, it was who could possibly replace someone so one of a kind. CBS's answer shocked everyone. They chose James Corden, a man with zero talk show experience and none of Ferguson's gift for improvisational conversation.
It really isn't lost on me What a privilege it is to be given a show like this, and I will really do my best not to let any of you down, truly.
Corden came across as humble and grateful, without a hint of the ego he'd shown during his time in the UK. It was a fresh start for him, one he was determined.
Oh, it's coming though. So when somebody has an ego like James Corden, they can quieten it down to make them seem more humble, and they may have felt even a little bit humble during that period for a very short period of time. But once the first show was out, once the anxiety of that was gone and he got good reviews, I'm guessing, then the ego comes back out and you continue being a sloppy sausage.
I'm meant to make the most of. Corden's approach to late night couldn't have been more different to Ferguson's. One difference that was noticeable right away was the format for interviewing guests. While Ferguson interviewed guests one at a time, as was common for American talk shows, Corden took inspiration from British shows like Graham Norton, bringing multiple guests out at once. This created a more casual atmosphere where celebrities could interact with each other, often revealing different sides of themselves than they might in a traditional interview. But the biggest difference in Corden's approach wasn't just who sat where, it was his understanding of how young viewers were consuming late night television. Traditional ratings mattered less and less. What really
Did he figure this out, or did the producers and the writers?
Counted was creating moments that would be shared online the next day. Unlike his predecessors who focused on monologues and interviews that would play well for the live audience, Corden and his team designed segments specifically engineered to go viral. This strategy led to the creation of what would become Corden's signature segment, Carpool Karaoke. The premise was deceptively simple. Corden would drive around with famous musicians, singing along to their hits while chatting in between songs. But this
I've just remembered a massive part of that show. Something that so Carpool Karaoke was good. It was entertaining. You got to see some parts of some singers that you wouldn't normally see, and it's quite raw. Thing is though, because of James's ego, he believed he was a fantastic singer. He thought sometimes he was a better singer than the artist that he was with in the car, and he would try and out-sing them in moments, and it was so uncomfortable because you're listening to, let's say, Justin Bieber sing, and you want to hear him sing the chorus to his hit song. Instead, you had James trying to over-sing Justin Bieber, and it was just awkward and a little bit sad to watch.
Basic concept would go on to become one of the most successful digital franchises in television history. The segment actually began as a sketch Corden had done for comic relief in the UK with George Michael years earlier. When brainstorming ideas for his new show, Corden and producer Ben Winston thought it might translate well to late night television, and their instinct was on the money. The first official Carpool Karaoke featured Mariah Carey in March 2015, but it was the Adele episode that truly showed the concept's potential. Released in January 2016, the video went mega viral, racking up over 260 million views on YouTube, making it one of the most watched late night clips ever. The genius of Carpool Karaoke was how it stripped away the barriers between celebrities and audiences. Inside Corden's car, megastars appeared more relaxed and authentic than in polished interviews. Whether it was Adele belting out her own hits before surprising everyone with her perfect rap of Nicki Minaj's Monsterverse, Stevie Wonder calling James's wife to sing I Just Called to Say I Love You to her, or Lady Gaga taking over the driver's seat. These moments—
This is genius, not the Lady Gaga part, but this part of the show does make him seem much more likable. Because when you have other people that are famous and you think are nice and or might know that they're nice from other interviews, having that person also get on with somebody else that you're unsure about makes that person more likable. It's like you're meeting somebody for the first time, but if you have a mutual friend that backs them up, then you're more relaxed around them. You think, yeah, that person's probably quite cool because Derek thinks they're cool. I don't know who Derek is.
Felt spontaneous and genuine. Viewers felt like they were eavesdropping on an intimate moment rather than watching a carefully scripted segment. The fact that these A-list celebrities seemed so comfortable with Corden also helped to cement his image as the friendly everyman who could get along with anyone. The success of Carpool Karaoke inspired Corden's team to develop other segments with similar viral potential. Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts forced celebrities to either answer uncomfortable personal questions or eat disgusting foods. Drop the Mic had stars engage in comedic rap battles, and Crosswalk the Musical put Corden and celebrities in elaborate musical performances on actual street crossings, much to the confusion of real drivers. By 2017, The Late Late Show's YouTube channel had surpassed 10 million subscribers, with some videos gaining more views than the show's entire weekly television audience. In an era where younger viewers were abandoning traditional TV, Corden had found a way to reach them where they actually were, on their phones scrolling through social media. The CBS executives who took a chance on this unknown British actor were now looking like visionaries. Corden's digital dominance quickly translated into opportunities beyond his talk show. In 2016, he was asked to host the Tony Awards, showcasing his musical theatre background to a primetime audience.
Ego. But it's only popularity at this point because nobody would pay for a CD of James Corden singing.
His performance earned him widespread praise, leading to hosting gigs for the Grammys in 2017 and 2018. Suddenly, James Corden had become the entertainment industry's go-to host for major events, the cheerful, non-threatening face who could guide America through its biggest nights of celebration. His presence expanded into feature films as well, as he made an appearance in Ocean's 8 in 2018. He also landed voice acting roles in animated movies such as Trolls, The Emoji Movie, and Peter Rabbit, bringing his instantly recognizable voice to family audiences.
Every time I hear his voice in one of these movies, I watch these movies because I got a kid, but every time I hear it, it makes me cringe a little bit. Your worst nightmare would be having a son who turns out like him, personality-wise, that is. Not success, he's obviously done very well. So when you hear his voice or see him in these kids' movies, you're like, you shouldn't really be here.
Within just 3 years from his American debut, Corden had achieved what seemed impossible. He transformed from a British TV actor with a mixed reputation to one of the most ubiquitous personalities in American entertainment. To the public, he was a cheerful, singing, dancing everyman who just wanted everyone to have a good time. But as his fame grew, so did the gap between his public persona and the person he was behind the scenes. On occasion, he'd slip up while the cameras were rolling, like he did in his argument with Sir Patrick Stewart. But the most disturbing stories occurred when he thought no one was watching. In September 2016, Corden had late-night host Jimmy Kimmel on his show to play Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts. Towards the end of the segment, Kimmel asked Corden to name any 2 of his show's camera operators, and embarrassingly, he couldn't do it.
Name 2 of the cameramen in this room.
The crowd cheered and Corden laughed into his hand, buying time to think of how to answer the question. Eventually, after over 20 seconds went by, he came up with something to say.
It's a different crew tonight, actually.
As much as they were all laughing, this was a very embarrassing moment. The fact Corden couldn't name people he worked with daily said a lot, and it reflected his disregard for those behind the scenes who weren't celebrities. Another difficult to watch moment occurred in October 2017, just days after numerous women came forward with serious allegations against Harvey Weinstein. Corden was hosting the AMFA Gala, and rather than avoid this sensitive topic, he decided to make a joke out of it.
Right here in LA, it's so beautiful. Harvey Weinstein has already asked tonight up to his hotel to give him a massage. I don't know whether that groan was that you like that joke or you don't like that joke. If you don't like that joke, you should probably leave now.
You'd think given the crowd's reaction, he'd realise he needs to move on, but he just kept trying to make the joke stick.
It has been weird this week though, hasn't it? Watching Harvey Weinstein in hot water. Ask any of the women who watched him take a bath. It's weird watching Harvey Weinstein in hot water. Harvey Weinstein wanted to come tonight, but he'll settle for whatever potted plant is closest.
This was beyond awkward, and if you thought the crowd's reaction was bad, the reaction online was even worse. Rose McGowan, one of the women who accused Weinstein of raping her, tweeted out about Corden, calling him a motherfucking piglet.
Brilliant. He is, well, I would say he's a pig, not a piglet, but...
Asia Argento, another actress who accused Weinstein of rape, said in a now deleted tweet, "Shame on this pig and everyone who grunted with him." In response to the backlash, Corden came out saying, "To be clear, sexual assault is no laughing matter. I wasn't trying to make light of Harvey's inexcusable behavior.
Don't make it a joke.
The abuser, not his victims. I'm truly sorry for anyone offended. That was never my intention." Now, this situation was bad.
Do you remember on Twitter where you could only write so much? You could only have a certain amount of characters. That was literally like one sentence each tweet and he had to put it into 2 different tweets.
Enough, but it got even worse for Corden in 2019 when he participated in a Reddit Ask Me Anything session that quickly went off the rails. Instead of the typical friendly exchange between celebrity and fans, the thread was flooded with users sharing stories about Corden's allegedly poor behavior. Hey James, you won't remember me, but me and my friends sat at a table next to you and Harry Styles, plus some others in Manchurian Legends in Chinatown about 6 years ago. We didn't bother you, but you were being a massively entitled cunt who yelled and treated the waitstaff like shit. And when one of my party politely suggested you calm down, you got really aggressive and threatening. So my question is this: why did Harry seem so cool while you were such a massive throbbing bellend?
I've worked in the service industry. I've served a lot of celebrities in that industry. Some have been fantastic, some are not. I won't go into them right now. Probably do that in another video. But when you're out with friends or a date or whatever, and you think that person you're with is great, but then that person treats the waitstaff, the person who's serving them, like crap on the bottom of your shoe, that is a better reflection of who that person is than what you know of them. If they can be like that with random people, then they will eventually be like that with you. So if you're ever in that situation, if your date or your friends are ever horribly rude for no real reason to waitstaff or anybody trying to help them, get rid fast.
Another user wrote, have you ever considered being funny or likable? While a third asked, is there any chance of bringing back Craig Ferguson instead? Corden only answered 5 questions before abandoning the session altogether, ignoring dozens of comments roasting him. That same year, Jack Allison, a former writer for Jimmy Kimmel's talk show, made public allegations about Corden's conduct at a Writers Guild of America meeting, tweeting, I'd like to state once again for the record that I went to a WGA meeting for only late night writers, and James Corden showed up without any of his staffers to advocate for a lower pay grade for late night writers. According to Allison, Corden was attempting to implement a new program that would allow him to pay his writing staff less than the industry standard.
What? They're the people who make you funny. You're not funny, James. You haven't been funny. It's your writers who've made you funny, and you want to pay them less?
While James defended his motives in a string of tweets, the story further tarnished his reputation. As all of this was going on, Corden was also facing problems with his ventures in Hollywood. He played the lead role in the film adaptation of the musical Cats, a project that became infamous for all the wrong reasons.
So bad.
The world got to see James Corden as a fat pussy. He was also in the movie Cats, but no one saw that.
It was released in December 2019 and was a critical and commercial disaster, earning a dismal 19% on Rotten Tomatoes and losing over $100 million at the box office. Corden's performance as Bustopher Jones was singled out by many critics as especially jarring to watch, but he wouldn't know what it turned out like because he refused to watch the film.
I haven't seen it, so
You know, when you haven't watched your own work at least once, you've got to watch it at least once just to check, and when you haven't seen that, you know it was bad. He knew it was bad the way he was doing it. To be fair, I don't know why I'm being nice to him here. Everybody was bad in that movie. Nobody was good. It was just an awful movie, badly written. But yeah, he was truly terrible in it.
I've not watched the film.
Which would you rather have? Just right? Would you rather it be anatomically correct and so you have a butthole, or you don't have a butthole?
I think either way, it probably can't save that movie.
Many found his attitude towards the film disrespectful to the cast and crew who worked on it, as he talked ill about it on other shows too. His next major role came in 2020's The Prom, a Netflix musical where Corden, who's a straight man, played a gay character.
Stop! Stop! Hold it! What you are doing here is wrong.
His performance was widely criticized as being stereotypical and offensive, but even with the backlash, he somehow received a Golden Globe nomination for the role. This further fueled...
What? I've not seen it, but just from that scene, I can tell it's just awful. How was a Golden Globe nomination? Obviously he didn't win, but what the heck?
Public frustration, and at this point, people were growing tired of seeing him everywhere. Nothing proved that more than the reaction to rumors that he might be cast in the film adaptation of Wicked. Fans of the musical launched a petition to keep him out of the project, and it amassed over 100,000 signatures. Even his appearance as the host of the Friends reunion in 2021 drew criticism from fans who questioned why he was involved at all, given he had no connection to the show. It wasn't long before he started receiving hate for his talk show as well. His segment Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts, where celebrities had to choose between disgusting foods or answering personal questions, came under fire for featuring traditional Asian foods like baloo.
Pig blood curd and a baloo, which I don't even know really what that is.
I don't know either. It doesn't smell good.
They've put that in front of him on purpose. I think he must have pissed off a lot of people backstage. You don't put something that's socially and internationally significant to some people and not let the host know what it is, because then it just makes him look like a plonker. So I think they've done that on purpose, well, which is good on them.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
Baloo is a fertilized duck embryo and is considered a delicacy in some Southeast Asian countries. A TikTok user named Kim Syra made a post about it, criticizing the segment for being racist, and it got around 3 million views. She then started a petition to have Asian food removed from the segment or to remove the segment entirely, and it accumulated tens of thousands of signatures. Now you could argue this was overly sensitive, and you may have a point, but it ended up being one more thing people could point at to hate on Corden. Eventually, Corden addressed the controversy on the Howard Stern show, promising to modify the segment, and shortly after they did. Another embarrassing situation happened the following year, when viewers noticed that Corden stole a joke he told on his show, almost word for word from material performed by Ricky Gervais.
Because if someone puts up a poster in a town square that says guitar lessons available,
that's like going into a town square, seeing a big notice board, and there's a notice, guitar lessons.
like you don't get people in the town go, I don't want to play the guitar!
And you go, but I don't fucking want guitar lessons.
I mean, that sign wasn't for you. It was for somebody else. You don't have to get mad about all of it.
Fine, it's not for you then. Just walk away. Don't worry about it.
After seeing this clip, Gervais called Corden out on Twitter, saying the bit about the town square advert for guitar lessons is brilliant. Corden then responded saying, inadvertently told a brilliant Ricky Gervais joke on the show last night. Obviously
inadvertently. I actually believe him here. I reckon he didn't know, and his writers have stitched him up again. I love it. They're clearly done with him, and they are just making him look like a plonker behind his back, and he has no idea. And then he goes back and gets even more mad and probably yells at them for it.
Not knowing it came from him. It's brilliant because it's a Ricky Gervais joke. You can watch all Ricky's excellent specials on Netflix. Now in this case, it'd be fair to assume that the show's writers were giving Corden his monologues, so he didn't copy Gervais himself. But of course, he's proven that when he comes up with his own material, the outcome can be even worse. Perhaps the most damaging incident of all occurred the same month, when James went for a meal at a popular New York restaurant called Balthazar, a place
Okay, heard about this, heard about him being a turd in public in this restaurant. This was probably what was the nail that really started to destroy his career.
Frequented by many celebrities. The eatery is owned by Keith McNally, a renowned restaurateur known for several popular establishments around the world. Corden had a tense exchange with some of the workers at the restaurant that led to him getting banned, and afterwards McNally made an Instagram post calling him out for his behaviour. James Corden is a hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man, and the most abusive customer to my Balthazar servers since the restaurant opened 25 years ago. McNally went on to explain that Corden was nasty to Balthazar's manager after finding a hair in his food. He demanded that the manager cover all of their drinks and bring another round immediately, otherwise he'd leave a nasty Yelp review. Later, he became angry with the waitstaff after the kitchen made a mistake with his wife's omelette order. Apparently, he yelled like crazy at the server, telling them they can't do their job. After McNally's post caught traction, Corden called him to apologize and was subsequently unbanned from the restaurant. However, shortly after, he did an interview with the New York Times where he denied that he did anything wrong on any level. This led to McNally making another scathing Instagram post about him, and the drama started back up again. Then, on the October 24th episode of his show, Corden opened by sharing his version of events, mostly defending himself before adding a weak apology at the end.
Because I didn't...
Why apologize? If you really don't think you've done anything wrong and you're defending yourself, just don't apologize. When you sit on the fence, you look like an idiot.
Because I didn't shout or scream, like I didn't get up out of my seat, I didn't call anyone names or use derogatory language, I've been walking around thinking that I hadn't done anything wrong.
This wasn't received well at all, and viewers left comments like, you could apologize or you could go on a 5-minute monologue about how you think you're not in the wrong.
If you can restrict your ego or use it to your benefit, then you will go much further in life. What I love most about this is he is his own downfall. All of this is because of him and him being a massive, silly idiot.
There have been stories like this about this guy for years. It's not a huge surprise. At this point, Corden's reputation was in the mud. The parallel to Ellen DeGeneres was unavoidable. Both had built empires on being nice, and both...
Where they're also coming out that Ellen was a massive, massive turd to her staff. I bet them happening at the same time really didn't help him.
had been revealed to be the opposite when the camera stopped rolling. In the wake of the Balthazar incident, more stories started resurfacing from Corden's past. There was an alleged incident in which he ignored his wife for hours on a transatlantic flight as she struggled to take care of their child. Becky Habersberger, the wife of Try Guys member Keith Habersberger, claimed to have watched him scream at a Los Angeles busboy who was just trying to help him.
And I overhear the busboy telling James Corden that Little Dom's is closed right now. It's closed right now. They close in the middle of the day between lunch and dinner. And he's telling James Corden that he can get him a reservation, you know, right when they open. He was trying to be really accommodating. And James Corden yells at this busboy, "A lot of good that does me, mate. A lot of good that does me."
Craig Duncan, a TV director who worked with Corden on his old game show A League of Their Own, came out describing his nightmare experience with him.
The most difficult and obnoxious presenter I've ever worked with is James Corden. I went along to Elstree and I sat in the darkness and kind of watched James on the set of League of Their Own rehearse. No audience, no other panel members, just him on his own. And he came to a point where he had to read from a card, and he had the card up like that, and he was reading from it. And it was kind of a joke in there. And he kind of just like, I remember, he just looked at it like, that's not funny. That's not funny. What? He was like, that's shit. That's shit. We have to rewrite that. We have to rewrite this. And I don't know, maybe he was having a bad day, I thought, and the writing's just not been up to scratch. But I definitely thought, man, you know, somebody wrote that. Not nice.
He later recalled a tantrum Corden had when they were wrapping up filming.
And so it's all going pretty well. And then it comes to the time that, right, we need to get this done now. And we have to, all we had to film was the reveal of who had won. And we had like, I don't...
If you don't think the joke's funny, if you don't think the writing is funny, then say your own jokes. Don't have to put down somebody else's work. Just say your own jokes.
5 or 6 minutes left. And I thought, right, we're not going to be able to shoot it as per the plan. Paul, come over here and let's have a talk. And I got all the camera crew round and we had a huddle to discuss how do we shoot this in 5 minutes. And we're all going to work out the best place for cameras and do. And I worked out, this is why I want to block it out. I think we need to do this, this and that. And this is what if I did this, that would save you. And we worked out, we're working it out. We were working it out to save time when old Buggerlugs pipes up. What the fuck is going on here? It's obvious what you do. You put a camera there, you put a camera there, you put a camera there, and you put a camera there. He comes up, shows his dish, goes back to his table. He comes up, shows his dish, goes back to his table. You do it like this. It's so obvious how you shoot it. It's stupid. And I'm like, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right, guys. Let's just do that. That's the best thing to do. And they're all looking at me like that. Because that's obviously how we were going to shoot it. We know what we're doing, right? And I thought, right, yeah, no, he's right. Let's do that. All right, Jim, cheers, mate. We'll do that. And so he went, all right. God,
this is the problem. He didn't want a confrontation. Didn't want to potentially risk his job. So he just agreed with James. Just agreed with his awful behavior. And then you do this, and then he thinks he's entitled to that same opinion. He's entitled to think he's better and bigger than everybody else. Then he goes on to be worse again. Again, he goes on to be ruder to other people. You've got to nip it in the bud. You've got to get people, you've got to put people in their place earlier.
Down. And so we shoot it exactly as he's supposed to shoot it. And he was like nearly 45 minutes. He was late 45 minutes from his schedule. And I'd have had him done in 6. So cheers, James. You got your way. Well done. Well done for treading all over my toes. I don't care. I'll get paid at the end of the day. And I hope I never ever work with you again.
As stories about Corden's behavior continued to circulate, his career suffered. Ratings for The Late Late Show declined, and the online clips that once generated hundreds of millions of views were attracting significantly less attention. In April 2023, after 8 years as the host of The Late Late Show, he decided to say goodbye. While he claimed the decision was about spending more time with his family, many speculated that the controversies surrounding him had played a significant role.
There are too many signs here telling us to go home.
His final episode featured guests Harry Styles and Will Ferrell, along with a special Carpool Karaoke with Adele. It was a star-studded farewell, but it lacked the cultural impact his show once commanded. After Corden's departure, CBS announced they wouldn't be replacing The Late Late Show with another talk show, instead reviving the game show after midnight in that time slot. It was the final indication that the Corden era of late night had ended. For 8 years, James Corden presented himself as the ultimate nice guy, the singing, dancing host who just wanted everyone to have a good laugh. And for years, he successfully maintained this charade. His undeniable skills as a performer helped sell the illusion, allowing millions of viewers to believe in the charming character they saw on screen each night. But no amount of talent could permanently conceal the truth. As the stories about him piled up, they became impossible to ignore, and Corden learned firsthand that once your true nature is exposed, no performance is good enough to win the people back.
And rightly so. Hopefully he'll never be on anything else. I think if it happens, it's going to be like 20 years from now, where people have forgotten pretty much what he was like, and then he'll go back to being a little turd all over again. He has not learned, and he will not learn. Great video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to hit about 20,000 subscribers this month, or over the next few months. Sorry, it's a bit ambitious. Whatever. Anyway, enjoy, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.